Abracadabra.
First of all, who the fuck is boiling steaks? So I
Hashtag boo DirecTV. And every time I go to get a blanket, I'd be like, is this a blanket? Fuck. You never hear anybody say, God, the price of seltzer is killing us. You know, so Bang Tango's someone like you. I'm just like you.
Plus, us short girls, we just mount it like we're doing a piece of gymnastic equipment and straighten out our arms. It's a great workout for us short girls climbing to get what we need in the kitchen.
This short girl knows how to mount.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
We are triumphantly returned from the Pacific Northwest.
What a trip.
Where we almost froze to death. But that was okay. We got coffee from a girl in a bikini.
Yes.
It's so cold out there. It is really cold. I mean, it gets
They're not a
cold.
sponsor, but I really did enjoy the, what is it? The
Ladybug.
It's the Ladybug.
Espresso.
The Ladybug Bikini Espresso Bar.
Yeah.
Which we had to check out. And it turns out that right there in the middle of nowhere in the Tacoma area is a trailer that dishes out great coffee by women 24 hours a day in bikinis.
Pressing coffee.
Yep.
In a little building.
Never not wearing a bikini.
Only drive-through.
Yes.
They have to open the window to the cold.
I would not want to be the drunk guy that comes up at 2 o'clock in the morning because I have a feeling that's when they put Aunt Olga back there. And I don't think it didn't say anything about looking good in a bikini. It just said always in a bikini. So
yeah. Might be Mark in a bikini.
Yeah, you don't want to
Might be
that.
What he does late at
night.
night.
You don't want to see that? Nope. Definitely not. What else happened on the trip?
We can talk about the great baggage debacle.
Oh my God.
Which was a story in and of itself. I'll protect the airline. We'll just say it rhymes with Mouthwest.
Mm-hmm. We got in at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we got in at 1, which we expected to get in. There was no delays. We had a 3-hour lovely
layover in Vegas. That was nice.
Fun.
Yeah.
We didn't gamble. Well, we drank. So I did not sleep on the plane. Big mistake. I should have slept on the plane.
Yeah.
We were watching a movie and having a good old time. Didn't sleep. I was tempted to, but I didn't. And I think I had to pee like twice. Anyway, so we get back. Terminal's empty. It's 1 a.m. There's just all these people storming through to baggage check.
So I'm thinking it's going to be easy. This is it. It's just us.
And it's an awfully long walk to baggage check.
Yep.
And we get in and it says Carousel 3. So we're standing in Carousel 3, which is when I said to you, no, this isn't our flight. This is Albuquerque. So we look on the board. It says Carousel 7. So we storm up to Carousel 7, although everyone is mysteriously leaving Carousel 7. And by the time we get all the way up to 7, it tells us, just kidding, it is 3.
Then they finally started to unload the baggage.
The bags are coming and
then it just stopped.
And the whole thing just...
We're waiting. Finally, that comes over the intercom. The belt is stuck.
And then I think 20 minutes went by.
Yeah, and here's where it got really interesting. So there were people that could see in the upper part of the baggage machine that their bag was there. And again, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
It was up in the mechanism.
Up in the mechanism. So people started climbing up and grabbing their bags. And the airline luggage security people, whatever, started yelling at them, do not climb on the machines. And I thought, we were just kind of sitting back because our bag wasn't anywhere near there. And I thought, we're going to end up on the news. There's going to be a fist fight.
It was horrible.
At 2 o'clock in the morning over baggage.
Lord of the Flies mentality was starting to break out.
It was. People had it. They didn't want to leave.
Including the, I want to say, 30-year-old white gentleman who felt the need to yell, do your job!
He got right in the guy's face and yelled, do your job.
As if, he was like eating bonbons. He's like, oh, thank you for reminding me. My job.
You could just feel the tension level. And of course, they lost one of our bags. We had 2 bags. One of them got lost. So we were the last ones there. We had to tell them.
But everyone was coming together so well. It didn't matter age, race. An older white woman climbed up the mount of the baggage carousel and got her bag, and security was yelling at her. They weren't doing anything about it, mind you. They were just yelling over the intercom.
Yeah.
A black gentleman was like, shake him, get him property. I mean, it was like we were all just banding together. It was kind of beautiful against Southwest Airlines.
Yeah. But
Finally,
then when we realized that our bag was the only one that didn't make it, we had to go.
we got one bag, and the other one.
Our other bag didn't make it. No, everybody. We were the only ones that had lost luggage. So we go to the lost luggage department again. Now it's 2:30 in the morning, right? And the guy says he says he could see our bag. Like, I don't know where the tracking went or whatever. And then he started to ask us a series of questions about the bag. We said, it's a duffel bag. It's green and white striped.
It's not like a black rolly suitcase. It's
it's
kind of
pretty
distinctive.
Yeah. And then he wanted to know what was in it. And we told him
shampoo, conditioner,
medicines. And then the lady said, oh, you should never put your medicines in checked baggage.
Like, yeah, I have more medicine, except for the hum stuff. I didn't have all my hum
like,
stuff.
what else is in it? And we're like, well, we had some leftover beer in there. It was called Irish Death Beer. It was a local brew out in Oregon. That wasn't good enough. He wanted more detail.
He was like, bottles or cans?
Because they're going to find a bag that looks exactly like ours with bottles in it and go, oh, that's not it.
Yeah, I was
they
like,
specified canned Irish Death as opposed to bottled Irish Death.
He was like, he's like, I need something else in the bag. My brain is dead at this point. I'm like,
our hum nutrition stuff was in there.
Yeah. Okay. Skinny Bird,
some hemp lotion. And he goes, he has a question about that, right?
Yeah. What kind?
What kind of hemp lotion?
Vanilla birthday cake. It has pom-poms on it.
Yeah, we were just about checked out at this point. So
I mean, it wasn't his fault, but it was really hard. I mean, it seemed like we were describing the contents of this bag for an hour.
So then the next day we get a courteous call. We still haven't located your bag. The next day we get another courteous call. Still haven't located your bag. And then today it was on our front porch. So we got it back. All's well that ends well in Snaggletooth land.
Yeah. And after, we got out of there, I started thinking, of course, on the drive home, about all of a sudden, all the contents of the bag were coming through my head like crystal clear.
How
my
badly
running
we needed
shoes were in there.
Running shoes, allergy meds, which are very, very needed. So.
Your shaver.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was fun.
So we survived despite overwhelming odds to the contrary.
And Lord of the Flies breaking out in the middle of BWI.
Yeah.
So hot debate in the metal community across all forums was the new Metallica song.
There is a new Metallica song. There's a new album that is supposedly going to drop in April. And the song is Lux Eterna. You can see it behind us, the video. The Frisco boys have finally returned. And I think it's a good song. It definitely has a vibe of Kill 'Em All. It definitely has a Diamond Head vibe, but I can't help but think, here's a little bit of the Metallica song. Anticipation, in domination, a sea of heartbeat as one unified. And here's a little bit of the song by Dragster called Ambitions.
We tried to contact Dragster for comment, but apparently you can't contact anyone in any reference to this band.
Metallica. Dragster. I got a good thing going, got no plan to stop. Got fire in my eyes, ambitions burning hot. Oh, I'm flying, and I'm holding my ambitions burning hot. Oh, I'm flying, and I'm holding my ambitions burning hot. Dragster, this is actually not a bad idea to rip this song off because we played this song on the New Wave of British Heavy Metal Snaggletooth show in first season. And I wanted to credit the guys from Dragster, but they have broken up. The label that put out this album is completely defunct. So if you're going to lift, kind of like the way they lifted Sanitarium from Bleak House, a band that didn't even have an album, Google that and see what comes up. But anyway, yeah, so Hats off, new Metallica song. We like it, but it just sounds a little familiar to me. I don't know whether it was you or me. Start talking. This is material that we came up on our ride. We had to drive for 5 hours across the state of Oregon. So,
Along with maybe some Joe Hill reading.
true. That was great. There was this sort of phenomenon back in the 80s and 90s. I guess it still exists, where you said, okay, this thing that I'm outsourcing, or this thing that can I do this myself? Is there something, can I save money by doing this process myself? And I guess that's kind of what we started thinking about, hacks that we attempted to do things DIY. Sometimes they work and sometimes they didn't. So, for example, in the 80s, they came out with rechargeable batteries, and you had to buy these expensive batteries. They cost a lot more than even good alkaline batteries. And you put them in this little like easy bake oven thingy, it looked like.
You also, I remember having to buy the charger, and it plugged into the wall.
That's right.
So that was another.
But it was like
investment.
a little Holly Hobby kind of thing, like with the plastic case.
It was this case that you put them in, and then you plug the whole thing into the outlet.
Was it like square?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know that kind. We had a round kind. She had a square kind. But either way, I think eventually Energizer did come up with pretty good rechargeable batteries. But back then, even charged, they were not even a third as good as Duracell or Energizer batteries. So you were just like, fuck this. I spent all this money. And...
I really thought it was going to take off. I thought it was going to be like the ultimate recycling, but it
seemed like they found a way. They just kept making the alkaline batteries better and better and more expensive, and rechargeable just couldn't compete.
Bunny's got to work.
Reminds me when you zapped yourself with the remote control. Did you tell them that story?
Oh, that was
she still has a scar from it.
Our DirecTV remote wasn't working, so I thought it was the battery. So I
just boo DirecTV.
Opened it up, and I went to pull the little battery out, just a normal AA. And I still have the mark on my finger. It zapped me like I had stuck my finger in an electrical socket.
Yeah, you ever been shocked by DC power? I mean, I know I'm not talking car battery here. We're talking two lousy little AAA batteries.
And I said, ow. Yeah. And then I did put new batteries in. It's never worked. The whole remote is just belly up.
Yeah.
So the remote zapped me, I guess.
All right. So another hack we attempted in the early 2000s, because they cost more than the gross national product of China. Ink toner cartridges.
Oh, yeah.
Around the 2000s, they came up with you could refill your own ink toner cartridges. That was a little bit of an epic fail. They gave us a little needle and you shot up your toner cartridge with heroin.
It was such a mess. It was such a mess.
And then it leaked all over inside and ruined the fucking printer. So the money that you saved, you had to go buy another printer.
I remember them having kiosks at the mall where they would sell these, syringes and ink to
refilling the toner. Yeah, we got a new giant copier machine at my office, and they were giving us like a tutorial on it, and they were showing us how you take out this toner and put in this cartridge. And I thought,
God,
there's no way I'm touching that because that toner costs more than my car, and I'm not going to fuck that up. So I'll leave that to someone else. I will not be changing toner in the giant machine. Sorry.
Yeah, sometimes, with a home printer, as cheap as they sell printers, it's like cheaper to buy a whole new printer.
We're the cheapest. We just go to like UPS store or whatever. Yeah. So, or the library. So, another one I liked. This actually we were a big fan of. I don't think I would like it now, but back in the 80s, we thought this was great. The Presto hot dogger. The ad actually said something about electrocuting your hot dogs.
Oh my God.
So it was kind of like they were like batteries. You would take the hot dogs and you would open up the chamber, and they went on these little electrodes, the edges of and you would kind of impale them in there and then turn it on. And actually, I remember you could smell, there was sort of an electrical whiff. Like it was a weird smell.
For those of you who enjoy the smell of burnt flesh.
When do you need 6 hot dogs? Right now. I guess we did. Whatever. So, it's better than baking cakes with a light bulb. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Easy bake oven?
Yeah, I used to do that all the time.
Mind-blowing technology.
I thought they were always going to be super tasty, and the pictures on the box, they actually looked like a cake. It actually ended up like you kind of baked a cookie, and it wasn't a very good one. What do you want from I think
a light bulb bakery? Yeah.
Yeah, a light bulb bakery.
This one actually went over well. I was getting this person really liked seltzer, And this is before the age of seltzer that we live in now, where it was hard to get seltzer, I guess, it's more of a European thing at the time. So I invested in a soda stream package where you make your own seltzer. And basically you have to get a special bottle. You put regular water in and whatever else. And then you insert the CO2 canister and you just go, psst. And however longer you do it, that makes it more bubbly, right? It went over great. She loved it, right? And started buying all these bottles and making her own seltzer. And I thought, this is dumb because the price of seltzer is what, 99 cents for a 2-gallon? I mean, it's like you never hear anybody say, God, the price of seltzer is killing us. So hence the not needing an outsource. But
yeah, I never liked the Mio too, which I think is still a product out there. It's that little, you carry around your own shot of flavor just to add to plain water or your bottled water. I'm like, really?
Shake up the bottled water.
It's just water. Yeah. Just drink it.
What about the Mr. Beer thing?
Oh, Mr. Beer. I've had a couple epic fails with Mr. Beer. It's kind of like for the dad who likes beer and also is going to have to wait to get it.
Not me.
I really think it's almost as nearly expensive as buying a 6-pack. So let's think about this.
On decent 6-pack, like IPA 6-pack.
Yeah, they do have, like on Amazon, the Mr. Beer like start you up kit is either $50 to $82 based on the kind of beer you want. And guess which one is most expensive?
IPA.
The IPA kit. So it's kind of like what your level of premiumness is.
Premiumness. Yeah. Great word.
Yeah. But and then after that, you have to get the refill packs, and they start at about $20. And for $20, you get about 2 gallons of beer. So do a little math. The rough equivalent of that is about 22 12-ounce beers. So that's still $3.66 a 6-pack, and that's just for that $20 refill. That's not even counting the original investment of whatever $50 or $82 kit that you bought. It only takes about an hour at a time, so that's good to actually brew the beer, but you won't be drinking it that evening. You have to wait 3 to 4 weeks for the fermentation process to occur. And the
question.
Yes.
I didn't know we were going to have to do math on this show. Anyway, sorry, continue.
I'm angry at numbers most of the time of my life. Yeah, the first time I made this, my ex-husband actually made it. It was like way too bubbly. Like it tasted okay, but it was way bubbly. And like every time you went to do a word, it was like burp, burp. I mean, it was like, enough to make any sophomore girl giggle. That's how much we were belching.
But here's the question. It might not make economical sense, but is this how every craft beer starts? With someone trying this, failing, and going, fuck it, I'm going to start my own brewery. It might be a necessary evil. I think it is the gateway drug to all craft beers. So,
well, and then I think I also got one from my ex-boyfriend, and he never ever used it, never once. I used to say periodically, my phone. Oh, not my phone. Periodically, I would say, "Are you gonna brew the beer?" And he'd be like, "Yeah." He never did. It sat there for 4 years, But he did take it with him when I kicked him out.
So another outsource that this friend of mine, I remember we were talking about getting her hair cut. And he said to me, "Oh, I haven't gotten a haircut in years." And I'm like, "Your hair's short." And he goes, "Oh, I just cut it myself." And I thought, so basically you've given up. It's not even worth getting your haircut anymore. So,
although, that bowl look, that floby bowl look is back because that's what all the guys in Stranger Things have.
Yeah.
Just like,
let's not bring it down.
Yeah, I basically, my youngest, I had to get his head shaved because for some inexplicable reason, we got back from the fireworks on the 4th of July, and my daughter, who was like about 14, and my youngest was about like 10 or 11, she decided to cut his bangs like this. It was like the most severe angle possible. I mean, here it was like to the scalp, and it looked horrible.
It was not an acute angle. How about the snuggly? We all had them at some point. I don't know why. I think it was like this one year that was the gift, and we ended up having 19 Baltimore Ravens snugglies that nobody ever used sitting around the house. And every time I go to get a blanket, I'd be like, "Is this a blanket?" Fuck. It's a snuggly. I want a real blanket, goddammit. You know.
Yeah, it seemed like a good idea. We actually had an older woman who wore these around the office where I worked. We were like a medical billing office.
She actually wore it at work, a snuggly.
She would wear it in the summer because of the air conditioning.
There's another I've given up on life right there.
Yeah. And she would just walk around in like very nice dress slacks, trailing this weird cape of coldness behind her as she walked around in her
Was it like
snuggly.
designs on it or anything, or was it just a plain old?
Just plain old snuggly. And she would just walk around wearing the snuggly all year round. I guess she took it off when she went home. I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about our featured artist for the show, Sick and Beautiful.
Super excited about this band. They are such a visual band and such accessible hard rock. That's the category if I tried. It's so hard to put them into a category though, really, because they've got the heavier chords. Their music is full of hooks. I don't think they fit into any particular genre. I mean, yes, they are rock, but there's some punk in there. There's some pop in there. There's some dark blacker metal a little around the edges. So the costumes are fabulous. The videos are fabulous.
You can see behind us.
Amazing.
They do all their own costumes. 5-piece band, industrial metal from Italy. We have a fascinating conversation with Greta Di Lacovo, who's, let's just call her Herma, that's her real name, about having her own special effects company, how she uses it to make such incredible videos to equally incredible songs. I mean, this band has been around for a while. They got 3 full lengths, and their latest album is on Frontiers, which is an interesting choice of a label, because usually Frontiers is kind of straight ahead hard rock, but this is not that.
No, they're really amazing, and Herma has some incredible pipes on her.
Yeah,
she has just great vocal. I have no idea what her range is. We probably should have asked her that, but they're just amazing. And the fact that they it's not just makeup they produce, they actually go in a special effects lab. They call it Sick FX, and they do all their own prosthetics down to the bustier that she wears. They make it all.
Yeah.
And it's not a movie.
So you see her tits way before you see her, at least in the video.
So yeah, I solicited her to make me one of those, bustiers, as you call it.
Why don't you introduce the song?
All right, this is one of my favorites from their latest record, Starstruck. They have 3 full lengths, but this is the latest one. This one is near and dear to my heart. It's Tonight We Go to War, which is something my father used to say all the time when sporting events were on. If they really went well, he'd say, go to war! I'd be like, all right. But this is Tonight We Go to War.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon.
Yes.
This week, we're going to have some really interesting additional footage that you can't get anywhere else.
Yep. If you want to know our additional 5
best albums of 2022,
you're going to have to become a subscriber for your exclusive content for Mark and Stace.
I mean, we've got props to pay for. We've got Snaggletooths to pay for.
We really need a printer.
We need a printer.
Help us out.
I mean, help us out. All we do is give you content. $6.66 a month, folks. We need it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Check out our Instagram at Snaggletooth Decay and at Snaggletooth Rock and Roll.
Make sure you hit the follow button so you don't miss a single post or a single goofy show.
Give us a comment. Give us a like. Let us know.
Argue with us. We don't care.
Give us some hate mail. We love it. So, and now, without further ado, it's interesting. Like some music I've written over the years for different music websites and stuff. Sometimes they want you to give your top 10 in October.
Why? That's kind of early.
And I know, and I'm like, no, this is the best time of the year. So we waited until the longest we possibly can. But I know that as soon as I finish the show, I'm going to find something that just came out like the last week of December and to blow everything away. I'm like, shit, I left it off the list. But anyway, so let's start.
All right, my top picks for 2022, and this was really, really difficult. There was so much great content out there, so much to pick from, but I could not leave Thunder Mother off this list. If you haven't listened to them yet, do it now. I love every song on Black and Gold. Every single song is a hit. Every single song you will find yourself singing to. They're amazing. They're all female. They're out of Sweden. They're amazing. They just finished a US tour, so get over there and check out Thunder Mother. They're awesome.
We had a great interview with them as well.
Yeah.
What's her name? I never say her name right.
Garnica.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. I always get it wrong.
She also put out a solo album, but I haven't listened to it yet, but I plan on it.
Okay.
Also, it's one of my personal favorites in this moment. They
so this
put
is
out
number 9.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Number
they
9.
put out actually 2 new albums in 2022, but I like Mother. They are what I've kind of come along that I really like is kind of a blend between hard rock and almost to black metal. I love that blend. It really, yeah, it's something I really like. All right, coming in at number, I guess this is 7. Could Never Look the Firebombs. Their new one, Gotta Play the Role. Again, I love every song on this album. After the first listen, I was completely hooked. I'm always so happy when they come up when I'm running. I'm like, oh, very danceable. And if you haven't checked out the Firebombs, get over there and check them out. You won't be sorry. Just good classic grungy rock and roll.
Very good. Yeah. If you like stuff like Backyard Babies and Shotgun Messiah, great stuff. Yeah.
All right, coming in at number 6. Could Never Look Lacuna Coil. Again, they're this wild blend of growly and rock. Apparently, this is my thing. I didn't know this about myself until recently.
You're so dark.
Very dark. Also from Italy. Cameli's, I guess, is it 20 or XX? I guess it's XX. But I love this record. There's every song just hits you right in the face. It's amazing. Definitely listen to them as well.
I don't remember ever hearing gothic metal and saying I didn't like it.
No.
There's something about that genre, especially if there's females. Something about it. There is no bad. It's like hookers and pizza. There's no bad. I should remember.
It's so difficult to count. So for number 6, comes in Dead Posies, Blue Monday. I snuck this in here. This is an EP. But I love their remake of Blue Monday, and they also have other songs on there that are equally fabulous. Again, maybe I'm a female singer.
They were Deaf Ears band. We had them on Deaf Ears, didn't we? Dead Posies?
Yes.
We did, yeah.
But yeah, also amazing. I hope they come out with something full length because I want more. There's a lot of groups that I wanted to put on my list, but again, I guess it's the way of the streaming music. They only have like 1 or 2 songs out, and I'm like,
you see that a lot.
I want more. I can't include you.
Okay.
All
Mark's
right.
top 10.
Smattering of applause.
Well, you'll get the bottom 10, the bottom 5 of my top 10. So confused I am.
I have to draw a diagram.
We'll start off with number 10, Sanhedrin. Fantastic band, female led, of course, guitar player, very Dio-esque with the riffing, lots of great jangly hooks, and the latest, they've never done anything I didn't like. This year's album, Lights On, was one of my constant spins. Love me some Sanhedrin.
Maybe they were talking about Herma with her lights on.
There's a connection to Hammers of Misfortune. The singer from Sanhedrin used to be there. She was in Hammers of Misfortune before they recorded anything. I believe.
Wow.
So that's the connection. So, okay, number 9. This should come as no surprise. Emissary, The Wretched Masquerade. We had a great time. A great interview with Jim and Mothman. The record is great from front to back. All of their stuff from the 90s, retooled, very modern production. Great hooks, great songs.
Great hair.
Great hair. Yeah. Loved it. Yeah. Number 8. This is going way back to the very beginning of season 1. Audrey Horne, The Devil's Bell.
Really good stuff.
I feel they really have come out with their strongest material this year. All that Iron Maiden influence, all that Dio influence just comes through so well. Quality hard rock. Probably Audrey Horne's best album to date. So that's number 8. Number 7, this should not come as a surprise. The Monster Thy Catafalque live show that just dropped. Again, this is why you wait till December. It's called Live at the, I'm going to get this wrong, Live at the Fekhet Zaj Music Festival. It is huge.
I'll
music
buy it for
festival
$1.
It's a huge festival in Hungary. And if you look at, I mean, it's out on vinyl, it's out on colored vinyl, it's out on CD. It's great. the number of musicians that they get to alternate the vocals and all the guitars and all, there's got to be like 50 musicians on the credits to this thing. It's incredible. Really is a celebration, and it comes through that way. And the music is amazing. So, and then number 6, and this is all you get. If you'd like to hear the top 5, you have to go to our Patreon page. Number 6, Papa Roach, Ego Trip. I could not put this album away. Every time I thought, all right, I've had enough, I had to bring it back. It's heavy. It's got groove. The stuff's danceable. The vocals are great. Great songs. Yeah, Papa Roach really came out of nowhere and put out a very strong,
Really
record,
hot
so,
stuff.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, bring in the noise, baby. So this has been Mark and Stace's 10 or 10 through 6. Mark and Stace's 10 through 6.
Bottom 5
Our bottom 5.
for our
Our
top,
top
5
10.
again.
Our bottom 10. Bottom
Become
5.
subscribers.
Yes.
We're gonna put up some good stuff.
To hear our top 5.
I
go
might
Patreon.
do either a dance routine or some exercise tips this week. You don't know.
Okay. Let's play a song. You want to introduce this one?
Oh, this is a great, sick and beautiful song. This is New Witch 666. This is from their previous album, Elements of Sex. Equally wonderful. Let It Destroy You.
We have done a Stu Manchu. We have done a Seussical. And now, this week, it is time for a what?
It has to be time for an Ask Jens.
Ask Jens. Time for an Ask Jens. So take it away. I found a very important question that all of us have been pondering that Jens can enlighten us. I found the answer to another one of life's riddles. Swedish wisdom. Here it is.
He's so much better than Ask Jeeves.
Okay. What did the teachers say about you in school?
You are horrible at math.
Oh, it had to be more than that. Come on.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
gonna shock you, but guess who was like class clown?
Oh,
all right,
you're
you were. Yeah.
Hard to
Well,
believe. Yeah.
well, I was in a quite strict class with many, those whose parents were like lawyers and shit, lawyers, and we had some insurance people, and so me and one and my friend, we were always the bad guys. So we they moved us in front. We were like 30 kids in the class. So, he could sit in the back, and I had to move in the front, so we didn't talk to each other. So it was like, it was mayhem sometimes. But
I used to always have to spend part of my recess, it seemed like, standing against the wall for talking. They made you stand against the wall like for the first 15 minutes. You just had to stand there like, great.
okay. Well, that's fascists.
Yeah. Back to hacks that work or do not work. I hate ironing. I was reading an interesting article recently about Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
And he would have kind of, I guess, nerves, not bad nerves, but he would get a little restless before shows. And Eric Clapton taught him that ironing is a good way of getting centered.
Really?
Yeah. So you'd have to have like an ironing board and an iron backstage before we would go out. Something about the repetitive motion. Not me. I hate ironing. So
I could
apparently, if you're a 70s guitarist, ironing is fun, I guess. But
no.
All right. Here's the deal, right? For men, especially, a dress shirt, to get a dress shirt dry clean is $1 a shirt usually. And I could never understand why my cheap old man would be spending hours in his underwear starching all morning,
I can remember, being in my 20s and trying to be the good little wifey. And my ex-husband always liked those real heavy, like Ralph Lauren button-down dress shirts.
Mm-hmm.
You could iron them for half an hour and they were still wrinkled. That's when I started taking
The dry
I
cleaner.
was like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
For, like you said, $1 a shirt, forget it.
Yeah.
I want those 8 hours back.
Remember the shirt in a bag thing?
Oh, that didn't
We're
work.
supposed to be like, you put the shirt in a bag and throw it in the dryer, and it comes out just like at the dry cleaner. No, it doesn't. That doesn't work at all.
Here's a hack from me to you. If you're in a really big hurry and you just need to kind of take the wrinkles out a little bit, use a blow dryer. It works. Just don't get it. Don't melt your shirt.
More incredible advice from Stace. How about this next one? This is yours.
The stupid pet egg. I couldn't believe it when I saw this product. Basically, it's an egg-shaped cheese grater that you're supposed to take over your feet and your heels and get this little pile of shavings off your feet. So basically, you're sanding your heels and your toes.
You're power sanding your feet.
But you're not even power sanding. You're cheese grating them. It's disgusting. You know what? And again, another just hint from me to you. You know, if you just stand in the shower and let water run over your feet and hope that's going to take care of the buildup of callus, and no, it's not. It's not going to. Maintenance. So I think if you're at that point, rather than the pet egg, you know, where you're causing yourself harm and pain, you should just go to the flesh-eating fish. I think that's good.
I've never seen that before. So you go to a
viable
salon.
option.
You go to a salon. Is it like more of a high-end thing? And they have these fish, and you put your feet in, and the fish eat the dead skin off your feet. Wow,
It's amazing.
giant shark. It's your whole leg off.
Kind of like piranhas, just not quite as
How about
bloodthirsty.
vacuum packing at home? You can vacuum pack your.
Such a pain in the ass. It always seems like a good idea. Pain in the ass.
It was like what? Like you fold your clothes or your shirts or whatever, and then you get a vacuum and suck all the air out, and that's supposed to keep it.
Yeah, basically it
keep it.
sucks all the air out. So if you have a comforter that's this big, it's this big. Yay.
So it's
As-
for space.
Yeah, for
Okay,
space.
gotcha.
As soon as you open that thing, though, it's back to its normal size. So you're gonna, it's a pain to reseal. So the only thing I found it was super great for was when you're moving
Mhm.
and you have to put a bunch of stuff in a box and, you know, whatever.
Then you want to suck the air out.
Then you want to set, because then it creates more space. But just to have it in the closet, every time you take it out, you have to redo it.
Wasn't there one with food too?
And who's storing blankets for years upon
I
end?
remember seeing commercials.
Oh, Seal a Meal.
yeah.
Seal a Meal was something I remember my mom had. It's basically these plastic bags. Instead of, I guess, you know, the Ziploc isn't good enough. So you put it in this hot thing that basically sears the plastic shut. So it always kind of reminded me of when my ex was, he used to sell food off a truck when we were first married, you know, door to door. And he had some customers in the Eastern Shore. We got approved to take WIC vouchers and independence cards, which are basically food stamps. They could pay for the food with those. And these people were not the brightest crayon in the box. I'm just going to say that. A lady commented when she was purchasing more steaks from him because they were
meat is sealed in what?
yeah, they were all like all the steaks came like individually sealed. It was called Cryvex. So basically it's sealed and milled for you in these individual bags so that if you were getting out steaks, you could pull out however many you wanted, you know, rather than have them all frozen together. So it's supposed to keep them fresher. However, she commented that she really loved those boiling bags. First of all, who the fuck is boiling steaks? A. B. No, they're not boiling bags. I hope the plastic isn't leaching into your system. I mean, who boils meat? It's chicken. It's horrible.
She couldn't figure out that you take the packet off first.
Yeah. No, she thought they were boiling bags. The only boiling bags I've ever seen are for rice. And
These
they're
are the
not
people-
plastic.
These are the people that call shrimps.
Scrimps. They used to call something, be like, I need some scrimps. Like, what the fuck are scrimps?
Like them bowling bags.
They
You got
always
some
called
shrimps?
the wings wingdings. Wingdings. I need some wingdings.
What about the epilade? Remember that?
Ugh. I bought this thing. I think this was another Christmas scam. They sold this, the Epilady. It was supposed to have coils and it would rip your hair out by the root.
Doesn't sound good at all.
But they said it was almost painless, and it said you might experience a tiny bit of pain when you used it the first time, but then it would get better over time. It didn't, and it was not painless at all. I remember sitting on the bathroom floor with tears just running down my face because every time it grabbed a hair, it like you felt every bit of it being ripped out. It's like some weird medieval torture device, you know, and it's like, oh, they lied. You know, I can only guess after using this product that fans had to move on to other self-flagellating things like, you know, a cat of nine tails would have been kinder.
Sorry, I keep getting distracted by Herma's light up bra.
Again, such amazing. This band is so amazing.
How about the Sham Wow, the world's most ultra absorbent towel? Remember the commercials? Are you getting this, cameraman? Are you getting this, cameraman? Remember
It's
that?
for the house, for the boat. I like when he puts it down and he doesn't even touch it and it's sucking up fluid.
It holds 20 times its weight in water.
So this guy had kind of a fall from grace. He was dethroned, as we would say, and summarily let go from his gig as the ShamWow guy. He was arrested for assault and battery of a hooker. He told the cops that he paid this woman like $1,000 in cash for straight sex. And he said when he kissed her, she suddenly bit his tongue and wouldn't let go. So then he punched her several times until she released his tongue. And the police report notes that after the 4 a.m. fight, she sustained facial fractures and lacerations all over her face. So the story really doesn't add up. I don't think to get a woman to let go of your tongue, you would have to do all that. So I think we're missing part of the story here. So he was bleeding as well. He ran into the lobby where he called the cops and he was summarily charged. Apparently there was a little bit of suing back and forth by the two of them, but it ruined whatever spokesperson career he had.
Sort of reminds me of that great Gary Shandling, because the Gary Shandling runs through it. Great Gary Shandling joke. You know, I was in a restaurant and I saw this woman and she was choking on a piece of food and her husband was pounding her. And I said, sir, I don't think in the face is going to help very much. And there was the clapper, kind of the precursor to Alexa, clap on, clap off.
Yeah, I think it's just, also preceding your appearance on your 600-pound life.
You're too fucking lazy to get up to turn the light off.
Turn
Yeah.
the light off, really? The only thing I kind of thought was if you came in the house in the dark and the whole house was dark, you could start clapping on lights. But now you just yell, Google, turn on lights, and it'll do it.
I don't even like the Alexa stuff. Like I know when your mom's like so impressed, like, hey, okay, Alexa, turn on the living room lights. I just see that as something else that would get fucked up. I'd be like, why isn't it working? I got to figure it. Like took 4 hours to get it working, and now all of a sudden it's not working. Just no thanks. I just will use the clip. I'll just use the switch.
Yeah.
What about the grabber? Remember the grabber?
This was supposed to be
another incredibly lazy product.
Well, unless I guess you're in one of those carts already in the supermarket and you need to get something up high. It was this contraption. You could reach out and grab it. But I don't think probably why this product wasn't bigger is probably it didn't work. Somewhere there was, somebody with Cheerios all over the floor because this thing slipped, and it certainly couldn't handle like a 1.5 of wine.
I would never trust that. No, don't drop the baby. No.
I don't know. I think I'll just use a step stool. But plus, us short girls, we just mount it like we're doing a piece of gymnastic equipment and straighten out our arms. It's a great workout for us short girls climbing to get what we need in the kitchen.
This short girl knows how to mount. I want to reach out and grab you. Abra, cadabra. Okay. I think it's time to play another song. I'll introduce this one. This is my favorite on the new Sick and Beautiful album. This is Drop It to the Beat. Very imperfect.
Very danceable.
Yes, very much so.
All right. So our sponsor this week is Imperfect Foods. No, we didn't shoot another ad for you guys. Not yet. We're too busy with Christmas. However, maybe later. I love this company. They actually delivered the night we got back from our trip. So we got back from our trip. We had ugly potato chips. They have some great I even have some gifty things in there. They make a great.
We had to.
Oh,
we were so keyed up from the battle for the luggage.
We needed chips.
I needed a mega pint of wine and some chips just so that I could go to sleep. It was 3:00 in the morning. I was so keyed up. So yeah, it was the chips came in well, and the chips came in handy.
Yeah. So
anyway, so I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, a whole box. Love their wings. They're small portions, so you don't have to spend $14 on a huge pack of wings that are going to go bad. We got some great. They always have great seasonal items. Right now, they have broken pretzels that are also dipped in mint and chocolate. Really good for
They're
Christmas
like crack.
time.
Yeah.
They have crackers. They have so many cheeses.
But it's dark chocolate, so you can eat the whole bag. It's okay. It's a medical pack. Yeah.
They have great also products for your body. I got some of the avocado honey body balm. So get over to Imperfect Check them out. You'll find a link. It will save you $20 off your first box from them. You can get produce, meat alternatives, pantry items, salty snacks, chocolatey snacks. They have everything: butter, eggs, bacon. And it's all delivered right to your door exactly when you want it, which is usually after a long trip.
Sounds like it's time for collectivation again. So, got a really good one for you this week. 2 of them, actually. We'll start off with this one. The first Turbo Negro record, Hot Cars and Spent Contraceptives.
Oh,
This came out at a time when the whole world was flipping out over all things Seattle, supposedly rediscovering punk. But this is nothing like grunge. These are old school Europervs from Norway who spent time braving hangovers and blizzards to lay down their first dark masterpiece. This is the beginning of death punk. Happy Tom and Rune Grund, they don't get nearly enough credit for this searing, slicing death punk style of early Turbo Negro. The group kind of later on became sort of a parody of themselves and kind of got more into just kind of, I don't know, silly party music. But this disc is a shameful, profane, romantic, shocking, brutal, bouffant masterpiece. Kinetic, tasteless, wildly original, slab of nihilism, the way it was meant to be recorded and performed. So just listen to the creative use of 2 guitars in these songs like Punk Pals, NASDAQ Comes Easy. In fact, let's play NASDAQ Comes Easy from Turbo Negro. Okay, collectivation continues. Now, this is what happens when you're drinking and you have a credit card 2 points for it. So, yeah, this is the Hollywood Rocks box set. It came out in 2005. Someone take away my credit card, for God's sake. Anyway,
I don't know. I got drunk and bought some solar lights.
yes, you did. So, I'll take this apart slowly for you guys to be able to see. Really, every big name LA glam band is represented here. The box set focuses mainly on demo tracks. There's a lot of material here that can't be bought anywhere else. So you start off with disc 1. Disc 1 is a strange one because it's got the original Warrant demo for Last Action Hero, which really kicks the door down. But then you also have the demos from George Lynch's pre-Dokken band Exciter. Axl's early incarnation of Hollywood Rose is on here with a song. I mean, they're decent, but it's not my favorite of the discs. The song by Candy, Whatever Happened to Fun, is probably the best on disc 1, and I can't imagine that they didn't turn into a huge radio sensation from that song. Disc 2, by the time '87 rolled around, it was good to be in a hair metal band then. That was the era of Stryper and Poison and Faster Pussycat, and yeah, it still feels like we're destroying the ozone from that, So, disc 2, you got 2 different LA Guns songs on it, 2 different lineups. Strange. Moving on, disc 3 is probably my favorite. It's got one of the worst songs of the whole box set in the song Rainbow Bar and Grill.
Oh my God. Sounds like a Jimmy Buffett song.
By London. That's Nicky Sixx's band before he was in Motley Crue.
Oh my.
So, but John Corabi's band Angora is great, and the song here from them is fantastic. And Kango's Someone Like You. Someone Just Like You. That's on here. That's going. So, and by the time we get to disc 4, you're talking about 1992. I mean, expectations were not high, and it was not good to be in this type of band. Grunge was about to destroy everything. The Spiders and Snakes song is the most insufferable 80s Alice Cooper horribleness, just terrible. But Pretty Boy Floyd's power pop nugget, Shut Up, is remarkably catchy. Let's play that now. What a great song. So how great was that song? So again, a mixed bag, maybe not the best thing I ever bought, but it's really cool. It's a really cool package for an era of music that has pretty much come and gone. But it comes with a little backstage pass. And lots of other accoutrements. So this has been Collectivation with Hollywood Rocks.
Like it's a backstage pass to nowhere. Great.
Okay, I think it's time for us to introduce the interview with Herma.
Now, remember, there's a great backstory in this band that they were aliens that crashed here in Rome, Italy.
I've been a crash land. That's a good place.
And unfortunately, they could not repair their ship. So they had to find a human/android replacement for their pilot, which they came upon Herma, and the band was born. They actually have a comic book just for fans.
I love this band.
They're so awesome. So after hearing this interview, don't stop. Just run your fingers over to Spotify and check them out, and definitely check them out on YouTube. They're such a visual band.
Yeah.
They just put so much into everything. They're so sound musically. Her vocals are amazing. Seriously, literally the next Lady Gaga.
Who was kind enough to pull over and do an interview. So here it is. Well, hello, Herma. It's so nice to finally see you.
Hello, it's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me. I'm sorry if I'm having the call by my car, but it's a working day for me today.
This is our first interview in a car. This is the first. Great.
Yeah,
I
as you
always-
see, you've
I always
inspired
do
me.
think- Sorry, what?
As you can see, you inspired me.
Oh, I love it. I thought they were blue, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna go with green, ended up going with blue.
Well, it looks great.
Yeah, I was so surprised that I love you guys. I'm fairly new to you. And then I started getting into I was reading on your website where you do all your own stuff. And I'm looking at Witch 666 thinking, no, there's no way they did all this. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
I saw you have your own special effects studio, Sick
Yeah.
FX.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, we do, me and Big Daddy Ray, which is the producer and the bass player for Sick and Beautiful. We do own this production company, video production company, and we work for other bands here in Rome. And everything started while we really wanted to do cool videos for Sick and Beautiful, and so we learned how to do that, and finally it became our day job. So everything we do by ourselves, starting from camera, editing, post-production, audio, recordings, and makeup, special effects, and costumes. I mean, everything. I'm in charge of the visual part of the band, and Ray is the producer, is the mind behind the musical part. But I think that in Sick and Beautiful, they're pretty much balanced. You know, the visual aspect does have some kind of weight, you know?
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. I was so amazed when I was watching that one video where you're making your bustier thing. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a show and it's on our science fiction. It's actually a competition where they
Yeah.
do it's what was that?
Face Off.
Face Off. I was like, you guys
Yeah.
could totally be on Face Off.
Oh, I would love to. We'd love to. Actually, we sold that piece, the breast thing. That was a unique piece, and we will send it as soon as we finish with our rewards for our recent Kickstarter campaign. And so that one is sold. Is going to be, I don't know where, probably in the US.
I loved the one where I was too late on it, but you guys had the skull piece from the movie. That would
Yeah.
looked amazing. So how's it coming with Starstruck? Is it finished? Is it out yet?
No, it's not out yet. It's not finished, but we're almost there. We just missed one day of shooting, and I think that, I mean, our idea is to have it done and visible for everyone that joined the Kickstarter before the end of 2022.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah,
I know it will probably be a very busy December,
Oh yeah.
but I think we have to. I mean, I know it took a little bit longer than expected, but just because we are perfectionists and we really wanted it to be as we dreamed, you know, because fans helped us very much, and so we really wanted to give out everything and give something that was worth the value, you know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was so neat. I had, so that came second. Mark and I were talking. Were they into that first and then the band happened, or the band happened and then they got into that? But that's amazing. You learned to do all that.
Oh, thank you. Well, came together actually. From since when I started singing, I always had this vision of something that in parallel goes with visual. And I mean, I've grown with new metal and Evanescence probably,
Oh, yeah.
and so I was so amazed by this gothic theme, and that thing inspired me probably to go deeper in the visual part of the music. And of course then I discover more bands, more artists that are even more, you know.
Oh, definitely. I was, you guys are so in this like Lacuna Coil. I can totally see that happening.
Oh, we loved. We met them actually. We met them at Wacken in August. Oh, I can turn on one light. Okay, that is probably better. Yeah, we met, and they're amazing actually. Very, very cool people, and it's a dream of a lifetime to be in tour with them. I really hope we can do that soon.
Oh my God, yeah, I could totally put that together. How was the Wacken Festival? You guys could literally come out guns blazing.
Sorry, what?
Wait, I was looking at the Wacken Festival. You guys literally come out with your guns blazing.
Yeah.
Is that hazardous? It looked so. Woo!
That was new to me actually. It was the first time I was trying it, and I bought it just for Wacken, and it came to my home the day before the show. I was wow. Finger crossed I can get it in time, because we've been called for Wacken 2 weeks probably before the actual show, or 3 weeks. We knew that very, very late, so it was hard to get everything ready for the show, but we made it in the end. And it was amazing because the show was the how is it called, the Wasteland stage. It's wow. So everything, it's so rusty and post-apocalyptic, and there's a huge flame tower on top. So I mean, my guy seemed so small compared to the stage and the location, but it was amazing actually. People loved it. So,
and you managed not to burn anyone too.
Yeah, almost.
Almost. Who did you end up torching?
Now there's always some kind of risk in our show, and that show, my flame, my magic book, when I'm dressed as New Witch, I do this spell with the flame book, and it didn't turned off that time. So luckily we had a crew behind the scene that turned it off.
Sorry about that. My daughter had a marshmallow fit. I had to feed her.
Oh, nice.
So with the new stuff coming out, I love it. Like Drop It to the B. I love the kind of danceability almost, and the industrial elements.
That's
but you still have like that growly stuff from the 666. I totally love that blend. I think it's kind. Do you think that's kind of coming more to the forefront? That blend.
Yeah, I mean, that Drop It to the B was kind of a experimental song for this album, because we knew that is probably not the average Frontiers song. But once we heard the whole album together and Drop It to the B started playing, we heard that it had some kind of power, dancey vibe, and we knew that was one of the singles. And if you look back to the Sick and Beautiful history, we always had some fun vibe to our album. Probably in the first record, LOVRL, there was a bit of rock and roll and blues vibe even more present. And we wanted to, not miss this part of the band, even though we became so darker and heavier and more maybe industrial and sci-fi and electronic. We really wanted to give that party vibe, because we still think that having fun it's the main thing of Sick and Beautiful. I mean, having fun and make people enjoy and have fun of the show.
Yeah, that's an amazing quality. But I love how you have such diverse tracks. Like, This Is Not the End is so post-apocalyptic. And
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of like a Mad Max. What cinematic influences did you have, like, developing that?
Well, I heard the song in the first lockdown. I was so depressed. Because I think most of us, when COVID arrived, we were also scared and we didn't know what was happening. So Ray sent me this song, and I kind of saw this desert, yellow desert with dust and dead earth and everything. And then actually the few times after Dune came out of Villeneuve, and when I saw Dune, I was like, oh no, we gotta do something similar. And so This Is Not the End videos was already in the works, but we kind of went in that direction, and everything after This Is Not the End inspired the making of Starstruck the movie.
What
I really do my personal Dune, even though we don't have that kind of budget.
Yeah, you were definitely channeling Lady Gaga, dragging that cross on the stars. I was like, wow. I totally
Yeah,
see that.
I wanted to ask you about that.
One of
What are there
favorites.
certain movies or other artists that you like? I guess who do you take inspiration from? Like, are there certain movies or artists that you say, "Wow, that's where I want to go"? Like,
Yeah, Lady Gaga is one of them,
okay,
for sure. And I gotta tell you that for this album, I watched a lot of Marilyn Manson.
okay,
Oh, wow.
I really wanted to go, even if we are not in the historical time of shocking, shocking, it's not something that happens. And of course, not in rock and roll and in metal music anymore somehow, because it's a genre that always looked to the past somehow.
Yeah.
But I thought that Marilyn Manson had this power when he came out, that it was like something new and bad somehow. And I really wanted to go in that direction, because I felt that after what we've been through as a band, I mean, few delusions and being heartbroken for broken promises and everything that an artist goes through in his career, I really wanted to take this bad part of me out of my character. So yeah, there's a lot of Marilyn Manson.
yeah. You have to have darkness and adversity in your life to come up with music like you make. I mean, it's
And-
Yeah, I'm
got to be there.
And the pomegranate blood suit. Ooh, I think you're well on the way with that.
Yeah, yeah.
You had some lineup changes, and you guys had some, the dark stuff that happened. Is that all resolved now? Because I know some bands it goes on forever, where
Well, I hope not, actually, but we've been lucky to find this new guitar player that joined the band right before we started recording the album, and it's Laurie, the solo player. I mean, we've been okay in being 4 members, and Nemes, our guitar player, is great, but Laurie, I mean, we felt that we needed to add a bit of progressive vibes, since he is a progressive musician, and we wanted that that kind of particular guitar skills that we think that our music was missing a little bit. So he added much to the album.
Yeah, the
And
riffs are amazing.
I really hope that this lineup won't change, actually.
With I love the cover songs that you've done. I love Hailstorm. She's kind of from We're in Baltimore. She's kind of close.
Yeah.
But you killed Steeples. Absolutely killed it. And I liked your Kiss ones too. How do you pick what cover songs you want to do?
Well, I mean, for now, I'm picking songs I think I can perform pretty good, and where I can show my vocal ability, just because I think that I'm still on my career phase where we need some visibility, as a band. So I'm kind of searching for something that is somehow shocking, and I think covering Lizzie Hale, which is one of the best singers we have right now, was, interesting to see. I would be curious to hear someone covering Lizzie Hale, just because I love her. And I did also Five Finger Death Punch.
That's
was
my
amazing.
favorite one. That's
Yeah,
my favorite.
I'm in love with his voice. Actually, I think it's one of the modern metal band that nail every song they do, and I'm in love with them. And I have plenty more to record, but I didn't have the time yet. But I'm focusing on have a 2023 with more time to go on this kind of projects, because I think that it helps the band, and also it's a lot of fun, and I love to sing, and I want to take my time to do that.
Interesting. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about streaming. Like, how is the streaming numbers, and are you actually seeing, that everybody always says, oh, no, there's no money in streaming. Are you starting to see where that's true for you guys, or is it still just like pennies?
Well, we've been self-produced and independent artists for two records, and actually revenues from streaming are totally useless. It's pennies. Right now we are signed with a label, with Frontiers Records, and we've been signed for not enough yet to have how do you say, the records for sales and stuff. So we have no idea right now how's it going. Of course, it's better than before because the label has a big exposure, and so we've grown as a band, and we probably earned more. But for a band like us, that it's still not famous and it's still some kind underground. Even if we played back and we're underground band, totally 100%, artists can live by the revenues that comes from the music, but they can do that with merchandise and help of the fans. So you always gotta consider that the money that are supposed to give the fuel to the band are there, but you gotta find your way,
Right.
Not exactly from the music itself.
I think Mark was looking for your vinyl, but we couldn't find it.
Yeah, no, we didn't print it yet, but we'd love to one day. They're so expensive to produce, and also to ship. So for right now, we decided that it wasn't worth the investment.
Yeah. Well, everyone's backed up.
We have budget, and we gotta focus on what's more important, and of course touring and investing in live music and driving through through the countries is the main thing. And it's also the more expensive, so we gotta save money to do that.
Yeah, when we've asked the other bands about that, they say that there's such a backlog in vinyl because even stuff like Billie Eilish and all is now being pressed to vinyl because of the demand. So getting to the smaller bands, there's just such a huge wait, so that's
they're very, I know that there are a lot of people asking for vinyl, and it's so cool that vinyl is coming back, but still it's a lot expensive. So you gotta have a big crowd that is asking for that product, and I feel like we're not ready yet.
Yeah, I had to settle for your pictures. I ordered those, but they're not here yet.
Oh yeah, they're coming, bro.
It's great.
Yeah, I ordered Rabbit Junk, came out in October, but guess what? We won't be getting that vinyl till March.
Yeah,
it's just not there. So
because
Crazy.
Katy Perry gets
Prices and
precedent. Yeah. So yeah.
it's coming crazy nowadays. I mean, everything it's more expensive, and shipping are more expensive, and taxes and everything is lower. I don't know what's happening. It seems
You're
like
right.
people that doesn't want that musicians live by their music.
Well, should we do our little game?
Let's do the game.
All right, we do a little game. It's called Random Questions with Stace, which is me. I have 85 questions. I want you to pick 5 numbers
Okay.
between 1 and 85.
Okay. 5 numbers. Okay. 79, 36, 13, 22, 29. Am I missing one?
1, 2, 3, 1.
That's
2,
fine.
3. Yeah, we got 5.
Okay.
Okay.
We always have to reshuffle the numbers because everybody always picks 6 and 6, 6. And we end up asking the same questions every week. So, so you picked a great set of numbers. This should be really good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're totally random.
Yeah, at least you had some different ones. All right, so 79 is, what word do you always misspell?
Most most of them actually. And you can hear that. I always misspell. Let me think. Well, I can tell you a little joke. Actually, about Sick to the Bone song. There's this part when I say 69, and I always said another number because I couldn't say 69. And still, sometimes I do this mistake on stage. No, totally no sense.
I love it.
Yeah, I was writing up show notes the other day and I was trying to write the word villainy. And I realized I've been spelling it wrong my entire life. It's villainy, A-I-N-Y. And I thought,
Oh, really?
yeah,
I learned something.
there you go, right?
I always misspell vacuum. I can't get the right amount of
Sounds
C's and U's.
That's okay when you said it. Sounds okay.
It's just like I'm like, is it 2 C's? I forget.
Yeah.
All right, 36. What is your favorite smell and why?
Smell. I would say some particular kind of paper that reminds me of some kind of magazine I was used to buy when I was a kid, and I was looking. I don't know. I had this passion for magazines, and they kind of it's something that is changed. There's not much printing, but sometimes I find it in the CD jewel cases and in the booklets. So I'm always like smelling CDs and booklets. I can remind when I was a child.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I love books. I could never be a Kindle owner, with the electronic books. As soon as I walk into a bookstore, I'm like, love it.
It was like record stores for me. Yeah, walk in the record store and just, and it's going away kind of,
Yes, there's something that we are missing with evolution, digital evolution.
Exactly.
All right, number 13. What Marvel character would you like to be? That's like the superheroes.
That's a good one.
Probably Iron Man. It's my favorite.
Awesome.
Because I'm in love with the actor, and also with this story. It's so funny. So Iron Girl.
It was funny with him. Remember he did. I saw an interview with him when he did that Dr. Dolittle movie, and he was so all pumped up for it, and he was done with the Avengers, and he's tired of being Iron Man. And then the movie didn't do well. And then I saw an interview a few weeks later, and he was like, "Well, I might consider it, if they." I was like, "Well, maybe Iron Man's not too bad." Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, it's not.
All right, number 22. What is the worst job you ever had?
You mean like day job?
Yeah, anything really. Yeah.
I worked. I had this idea a few years ago that I wanted to learn screen printing to produce my own T-shirts, and I thought that was somehow something to invest being a musician, because we could produce our t-shirts and we can sell them. I know, let's learn this thing. I'm always kind of searching to learn something new. So I knocked on big and big a big factory that was near to my home, and I said, look, I want to learn screen printing. So they hired me, like, a runner and some people that was working there, like the bottom of the chain.
Okay.
And I spent 2 or 3 months counting on pencils, thousands of pencils, because when you work in a factory, there are of course machines that do stuff, but there are humans that takes care of what came out from the machine. And they were printing thousand on merchandise, and I was like counting every day, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was so horrible. I felt like it was dying inside. So I fired myself and I said, no, that's not the life I want. And I quit with screen printing.
You did, but I can relate, because I'm in the middle of learning how to screen print, and it's really hard.
Oh, okay.
It's really
Yeah,
hard.
I mean, it's the process is interesting, but if you're a small part of the chain,
Right.
not so much.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, we've been struggling with that ourselves.
Yes, we have.
All right, number 29. If you were a type of cheese, what kind would you be?
Oh, I like that one.
Type of cheese. Well, we in Italy we have Parmigiano.
Ah,
You probably know that. But also something with turtles. How do we say that? Truffles.
Oh,
ooh.
wow. Very exotic.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
Big.
that's a good answer. Yeah.
So I heard you were hinting maybe at a U.S. tour at some point. So maybe we can come see you in person, get shot with a gun.
Yeah, we're always wishing for that. Sometimes it gets closer, but something happens that I don't know. It's never concrete, Still, we're waiting. This after COVID, everything changed, and we as a band, we're kind of stuck in this time that we are waiting for people to give us the chance to do stuff, because we can't do that by ourselves. I mean, I'm always some kind of person that thinks that you can do everything by yourselves, but we are arrived to a place where we literally can't do that. So we must rely on people that do this job professionally. So we don't know what to do, because we are waiting for people to invite us, to call us with a decent proposal that of course we can afford. So I don't know what to say yet. I really hope that.
Well, I'll share with you something that keeps me going. If you start to think about, whenever you get discouraged, just think about Rammstein, because that band has the strangest mission. Are you going to learn? You're going to do the songs in English? No. What's your stage show?
Yeah.
Fire, just lots of fire, and they're bigger than Kiss. So they found a way, and it's the strangest business model. You know what I mean? So I use that. If they could do it, then I can do it.
Yeah, no, I always think about that, and also Ghost.
Right.
They
on paper it shouldn't work, but it does.
They're not so mainstream, but they are.
Right. Well, you have to have that visual element, and you guys do. I mean, it's so important now. It's got to be visual.
Yeah, it's like the whole package, with the videos and your movie company and everything else. So hopefully that'll be out soon. Are you gonna release it like on DVD or streaming, or how is it coming out?
I don't think that it's going to be physical, but of course after a few months it will be visible for everyone. So probably on YouTube.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I love your Go to War. It's become kind of we jog a lot, so it's a great running song. But I love the lyrics in that are so good. It's, you are the ghost behind my shadow, you are the nails that hold my cross, you are the laughter and the venom, die another day, fight another day. Wow.
Yeah.
Those were some great. I love your. Is that your poet's skills coming in there?
It's all about Big Daddy. He's the writer.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
If you ever want to make me one of those bustiers, I'll pay for it.
He's in.
I love it.
Well, this was great.
This was awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us from your car.
Yes.
Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry I couldn't be with more light.
But let me tell you, it worked out because I wanted to do blue for you because I'm blonde.
Thank you.
I did it last week, and I used one that washes out in one shampoo, and it literally washed all the way out. I was not blue at all. I was so upset. So this week I got a redo.
Yeah.
You were light blue, which is cool.
Yeah, we needed a week to get blue. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I did the one with you have
red.
trouble keeping the color in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm light green. I did my hair dye 2 months ago, probably. It's very, very light, but I like it. I mean, and I'm so lazy, so it's okay for me.
Someone always has me redoing his hair. As soon as he gets a little light, he's like, can you do it? Can you do it?
It's always well, because then I see Cell Dweller and I go, how does he do it? You know?
Well, you're so bright.
Yeah. So that's the standard for me. Yeah. Anyway.
So at least I finally got it done this week. So, and I work for a doctor's office, so I wasn't quite sure how they would feel about me being blue, but we're going to Seattle this week, so I won't be at work, so it doesn't matter.
Oh.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Herma. This was great.
Thank you.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Deaf Ears time. We're going to start off with a band from France. They're from Grenoble, and they're called Rising Steel. You should do this one because you're the one that took French class.
All right, so this band formed in Grenoble about 2012, and the latest album, Beyond the Gates of Hell, is their third full-length on Frontiers.
Modern metal done really well. Some of it reminds me of Hellstar a little bit. Other parts, Grim Reaper, especially the vocals. And ironically, I was listening to it the other day, and I thought, you know what? This sounds like all the best parts of Candlemass. Like if Candlemass could find their way into a good riff, it would sound like this. So yeah, Rising Steel, an interesting choice for Frontiers Records. They really do seem to be expanding out. So they got Sick and Beautiful. They got these guys. Frontiers is really making strides. So let's play a song. This is Skull Crusher.
For Deaf Ears number 2, this is Garage Punk, straight from Austin, Texas.
Never been there. I always wanted to go to Austin.
I've never been to Austin. We've been to Houston.
Always end up in frickin' Houston. Anyway, that's not here nor there.
But this is the Draculas, which is spelled a little different. There's a K in there. Draculas. This is the marriage of several quality garage punk outfits. You features Mike Wiebe and Rob Marchant of the Riverboat Gamblers and Zach Blair of Rise Against. They've got a couple full lengths and some singles under their belt. Some synth, some pop, some rockabilly, a little bit of a, what would you say, a turtleneck, occult wearing vibe, if that's a thing.
Turtleneck wearing a cult vibe. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Their latest contribution to a very cool series of 7-inch records, courtesy of Drunk Dial Records in Portland.
We just missed them.
Yeah, we could
have been there.
Oh, we could have.
Allegedly, the idea is what they get an artist drunk in the studio, and then they ask them for one cover and one original song. So the cover on this 7-inch is a song called Three Sisters, which is originally done by the Jim Carroll Band back in 1980. And for those of you who don't know, Carroll was kind of a NYC poetry punk Patti Smith weirdo that kind of ran with the Velvet Underground crowd. He weirdly though, he wrote the story The Basketball Diaries, and that later became a big budget film.
Yeah.
DiCaprio was in it, and Mark Wahlberg was in it.
I'm familiar with Basketball Diaries,
Not
but
at
I
all.
didn't know that.
No. Anyway, the cover's great, but the original's even better. So why don't you introduce the song?
All right, guys, let's hear Shame from the Draculas. Deaf Ears number 3, because you guys deserve 3. This is an industrial metal from League of Distortion. You're featuring vocalist here is Anna Brunner from the symphonic metal outfit from Michigan called Exit Eaton, blended with guitarist Jim Mueller from German glam metal outfit Kissin' Dynamite. I love that
I
name.
think they got married or were dating or something.
Well, they got together at any
Like
rate.
on a tour or something. So, but anyway,
They were star-crossed musicians.
they were.
Their self-titled album just came out this November on Napalm Records.
This is why we wait for our top 10s. This came out in November. Anyway, go ahead.
Her vocals just seethe with poison.
This is right up your
Excellent.
alley.
Excellent stuff in the vein of, my favorite in this moment, Rabbit Junk, Edge of Paradise, just that amazing feel.
Yep. They had me at the first note. Yep.
The song is called My Revenge. Let's go.
Oh dear. The hourglass has ended. Seems as though we just set up and now it's over.
It seems as though we were just waiting for our baggage to arrive, and then it was.
We covered a lot today.
We did.
We talked about electrifying your hot dogs.
We talked about please don't use a cheese grater on your heels.
It's true. It's really good advice. Yeah.
And how to throw away your iron.
No ironing. $1 a shirt, people. Come on. Yeah. We talked about a lot of Sick and Beautiful and their incredible shows, incredible costumes, incredible music.
I think when they finally get over here in the US, it's going to go just saying.
And she has a hard time saying 69.
Who knew?
Just leave that one hanging out there. You'll have to watch the interview to get it. This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Sick and Beautiful appears courtesy of Frontiers Records. The Snaggletooth theme by Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme courtesy of Tim Green from the Fucking Champs. Deaf Ears bands, check them out. Rising Steel from France. League of Distortion, A Marriage Made in Hell, and the Draculas from Austin. All content 2022, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
We go to war!
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.